All right, let's dive right in. We're going straight to the source material to tackle one of the biggest questions out there. According to the earliest biblical texts, who exactly is Jesus? We're just going to look at what the writings themselves say, piece by piece. So this is the central question, isn't it? We're not talking about later traditions or someone's opinion. We're asking, what do these foundational texts actually claim? And as you'll see, the answer they build is based on a series of really powerful, interconnected ideas. Okay, to really get what these texts are arguing, you have to lock in on this one key concept first. When you see the phrase, the word, especially in the Gospel of John, it doesn't mean a sound or something written on a page. It's a title. It's a name for a divine person. And this idea, it's the anchor for everything else we're about to explore. So let's see how the texts make that connection. How do they link Jesus directly to this divine title, the Word? This one verse, wow, it's just packed with three massive claims. First, in the beginning was the Word. That puts this person on the scene before creation. Second, the Word was with God, which suggests they're distinct, but also in a relationship. And then the knockout punch, the Word was God, a direct claim of a shared divine nature. And here's where it all clicks into place. This divine, pre-existent Word, well, the text says it took on a human body. It became flesh and came to live with people. This is the moment that cosmic, divine Word gets tied directly to a specific person in history. So we've established the Word was there in the beginning. But the texts actually push it even further back than that, digging into this idea of pre-existence, of being around before the universe was even a thing. Now, this passage from Proverbs is often understood to be talking about this divine Word. And look at the language, formed long ages ago, before the world existed. It's painting this picture of an origin story that happens before physical creation even starts. It's a mind-bending concept. This timeline really helps you visualize just how huge this claim is. The texts are describing an existence that doesn't just predate the Earth, as we're about to see. It's an existence that claims to transcend all of human history, too. And this is one of the most jarring statements in the entire text. You gotta notice the grammar. He doesn't say, before Abraham, I was. That would just mean he existed first. He says, before Abraham, I am. That's a claim to timeless, eternal existence. It's the same I am phrasing God uses to identify himself in the Old Testament. And that is definitely not an accident. Okay, so this word existed before creation. But what was its role in creation? Well, the texts don't just say he was a bystander. They say this word was the very agent that made everything. The claim here is just so absolute. It's not that the word was just present when it all happened. The text is saying the word was the instrument of creation, and it leaves no wiggle room. Without him, nothing was made that has been made, period. And if you thought that was a big claim, check this out. This passage from Colossians just blows the scope wide open. It's not just talking about the physical universe, planets and people. It says he created the invisible realm too, all the spiritual hierarchies, thrones, powers, rulers, the whole shebang. According to the text, the entire fabric of reality, seen and unseen, was created through him. So we go from creating the entire universe down to something much more personal, the idea of sustaining life itself. And here, the language makes a big shift into this powerful metaphor. By calling himself the bread of life, the text is saying he's not just a one-time creator, but the ongoing spiritual fuel, the nourishment you need for a deeper, eternal kind of life. This side-by-side comparison in the text makes the point crystal clear. That manna in the desert, sure, it was physical food for physical survival, but it was temporary. Everybody who ate it still died. This bread of life, on the other hand, is presented as the source of something permanent, living forever. And this, right here, is the ultimate expression of that promise. The claim goes beyond just sustaining life to actually conquering death. The text draws a direct line. Belief in him is linked to resurrection. He's framed as the very power that defeats mortality. You can see how all of this is building, right? Each idea stacks on top of the last, and it all leads to this climax. The most direct, unfiltered statements in these texts about the fundamental essence of Jesus. It's such a simple sentence, but it is absolutely radical. He isn't saying they're similar or that they're on the same team. The claim is that they are one, a mind-blowing statement of a shared being with God the Father. And we don't even have to guess how people interpreted this. The text tells us their immediate reaction. They literally understood him to be claiming he was God, and they called it blasphemy. Their outrage shows us exactly how high the stakes of his claim really were. And this idea is reinforced in other places too. This verse from Philippians says that his very nature, his fundamental makeup, his essence, is God. This isn't about his status or his job title. It's a statement about what he's made of. This last one uses some really powerful imagery to drive the point home. He's called the radiance of God's glory. Think about that. You can't separate light from a star, right? It's part of its very being. He's not just a portrait of God. The text says he is the exact representation of his being. It's the perfect reflection of God's very essence. So when you put it all together, what do these texts claim? They present a figure who is the divine word, who existed before time, who created the entire universe, who offers eternal life, and who shares the very essence of God. The case is built, layer by layer, presenting this profound mystery. And so the texts leave you, the reader, with this final, unavoidable question. When you're confronted with a claim this immense, how should you respond?